Okay, so this is going to be a long part because we're going to talk about can every human get the four necessities of life? If so, how? Why? Whatnot. Okay, so be asking, can we make sure everybody gets four necessities of life? Because it's no secret that not everybody does. Like, just read the news. You're always hearing stories of people starving in Africa and whatnot. So could we make sure everybody got the four necessities of life? Food, water, shelter, and all that. Air. So, it's a very complicated answer. Can we? Yes, we can. There is systems that would work for that, whatnot. But most likely, with the way the world is now, maybe not 100 years in the future or so, we probably could not. So, like, yeah, okay. Again, back to the news. It's very rare that you hear a news story about countries working together, getting positive reform. No, you're hearing about clashes between countries. Sometimes, like Syria, you hear about governments abusing their citizens, whatnot. So, right now, the world doesn't really get along with each other right now, which is the root of each problem. And that hasn't changed much because if you look through back history, it's the way the world is most of the time. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So, that's why we probably could not, but can we? Yeah, especially in the modern world. We have all the technology, and we also have the governmental theories that would get it done. Okay, now how? That's the hard part. Okay, so how we do this is kind of as stated earlier. The first problem we have to knock out of the way is the agreements between countries and whatever. And so, if you were able to knock that out of the way, what you'd have to do to those governments is make them. I know some people aren't gonna like this, but you're gonna have to make them into a free market. Because if you look at it, like, let's look at America. Through the free market is how it became the most power or country in the world currently, economically and militarily right now. So we need a global free market, which is what we need. So now you might go, but what about socialism, communism, those type of governments? Why wouldn't that work? The short answer is look at history. Soviet Union, their economy didn't work. Um, pretty like that's just one example. If you look at other companies, similar totalitarian governments. Let's look, Nazi Germany. Now, originally, when Hitler was elected, they did gain prosperity or whatever, but then they started needing. But then their government started falling because you have discrimination, and you know how that story ends. Now, besides like the history of them, you might wonder the reason. Because communist socialism, even democratic socialism, is because with the way it works, there's no need to work harder. Like if a doctor is being paid the same as McDonald's worker, what's the point of training and becoming a doctor when you could just get straight into work? And the other problem, and which is why you notice socialisms and communisms, they need to eat up ground like Russia did. They need to. That's how they kept their economy up. But once we stopped them from gaining ground, and Ronald Reagan with his sanctions, their economy fell, and that's how it fell. And besides the economy, you need a free market so that trade can go forth, so that they can get to the countries that are in need. So pretty much everywhere has something to trade in the global economy. even deserts, they tend to have gold, silver, but all that kind of stuff. So every place has a place to trade, but in socialism, communism, or whatever, there's not really a way to trade it. So you need a global market agreeing with each other that people can market their goods in or whatever, so everybody can take advantage of their natural resources. And that way we start working together. Now these worlds working together. Science is advancing, obviously. Most of all, there is going to be free trade and access to areas that don't have as much. But so when there's an easier access to there, it's easier to get food there and export whatever the region's natural resources are, which is how you get water, food, shelter, and education and other things to parts of the world that currently don't have it. So yes, in theory we could and have. So that's why it would work. It would um work together. Now, you might want to ask yourself, would that necessarily be good? Because think about it. Yes, everybody's getting their natural resources, and you have a free market. It's going to be pretty much democracies. Yes, it sounds like a dream world, but as you know, with all the current ideas and people as people are all the time, that's not really feasible, unfortunately. So, yes, it would be. It would be good because everybody would get all the four necessities of life. Everybody lives. I mean, that's the big part. Everybody lives. So, everybody lives. Free market, ability to rise in society. That sounds like a pretty good world to me.